So rice is a very important part of the economy of Thailand. We're going to take the opportunity to find out more because this rice pledging scheme is very confusing. Who's going to benefit? Well, I'm told that maybe even the consumers here do at the moment. Come with me. We thought we'd take the opportunity to go to the Thai Rice Exporters Association and talk with the president, Kun Kopsuk Iem Suri, to find out all about the pledging scheme and much more. Thanks for coming to the program, and thanks for letting us come into your office and find out. The pledging scheme was put in initially, it was a short-term, 2-month period, theoretically, at harvest time, as we understood it, to help the farmers general. Did it work?
Theoretically, you said yes, you said, but today's pledging scheme has far developed it from the original theory and is now being used as an ongoing measure. It's almost like an all year round, crops after crops of, actually it's not pledging anymore, we should say buy-in scheme, because no farmers has ever redeemed their rice back from the government because of the big disparity of market and pledging price.
So theoretically then, the bigger farmers from the buy-in scheme get more advantage than the smaller farmers. But that wasn't the intention, was it?
It is the intention of this government, because when they specify that they are going to buy in every single grain, that means that bigger farmers get more benefits, obviously. Yes.
What about the small mums and dad farmers, as it were, where they've got 10 to 15 rye and they actually, produce X amount for their own need, and then they actually want to sell to, let's call it the buy-in scheme, or don't they?
Of course, I think they do.
They go through a middleman?
Yes, definitely, because of logistic problems mainly, because they probably, inside the mountains or in a jungle somewhere, very far from where the rice millers are situated, because that's where you need to bring your rice to pledge. So middlemen will go over all these small mom and dads and collect rice. And one thing we can't deny is they probably should pay more than they usually did years before. So the government
buy-in will actually give them more money than just selling to the middleman who could weigh the price?
I mean, middlemen will, if they act according to market, they will know that they could pledge this rice at a very much higher price the government gave. So they would, in turn, this is theoretically speaking as well,
sure,
that they should pass on some of the benefits to the small farmers as well. So instead of a small farmer selling at 8,000 baht per ton, they should probably get around 9 or 10, something like that. This is my feeling, that they should not be too far from the actual.
How is the government ever going to accept that will happen?
I think
How do you push forward to make sure
that
it's an equal playing field, which is not at the moment?
No, not at the moment. So I think this is. They know already the problems. The thing is, accepting it is the harder part.
And
for
the cost
government.
factor, what is it going to cost them?
Yes, definitely for the government. So I think that first of all, we need to really come to accept certain facts, that not enough farmers are getting into the scheme to benefit. Richer farmers get more than what they deserve from the program.
Because of the volume that
Because of the volumes. And the smaller farmers with 10, 15 rice are the ones who are not really benefiting fully, which are the target of
the initial pledging scheme.
That's
so
correct.
As the Thai Rice Exporters Association, what role do you play as a lobby group to the government to put the points of view forward?
I think whatever role that we should be playing, we are playing it lousily.
How can we do better?
How could we do better? Again, I think that we are trying to convey what we deem as facts, actually in the marketplace, in the world, not just in Thailand. So if the government is accepting to all these facts, then yes, we can move forward.
Thailand has always been at the top of the heap as far as export of rice. In July this year, we dropped back to number 3, not number 2. India came in first. Vietnam came in second. We're way behind. What does that mean to the farmer? Does that mean a lot of the next generation, the younger generation, are saying to their dads, it's too hard, I'm not going to do this, so there is less rice being produced or harvested? Or is it the fact of the government hanging on to the rice and saying we want more of a price? Is that why our exports have gone down?
I think the export came down didn't really have any significant effect on the farmers' side, whether they would continue to grow or not, which I think they will because of the attractiveness of the pledging price. So I don't believe that we are going to produce less rice because the younger generation sees that, oh, we cannot export. So it's totally irrelevant in my point of view. What's relevant is that, again, whether we become number 1 or number 3 doesn't really have any significant matters to us as Thailand, more than what are we going to do with the leftover rice. Because if some reason the government comes to a sense and say, okay, let's do something with it, let's export it, automatically it will make us number 1 again. But then again, I don't really care personally if we're number 1 or number 3.
It's not the relevant part, is it? It's to
No,
look after
no.
the farmers, to make sure the
Yeah.
rice is there, and the rice can be exported at world parity.
Yes, that's right.
How much more are we in Thailand trying to charge external
Okay.
than our competitors, let's say?
We actually don't charge much extra at all.
So what's the point of difference?
The difference in terms of quality, comparing to Vietnamese or Indian rice, will probably be $30 to $50 US dollars per ton. And that's the quality premium only.
That we offer.
Yes. But come to the fact that Thailand produces rice at much higher cost than everybody else.
Our labour cost, you mean, the actual
And
logistics
the rent,
cost
yeah,
and the rent.
and the rent, which is a totally different structure from Vietnamese or Indian rice producing country. So that means that our rice is higher at cost anyway, regardless of the quality. So this is the major part as well. If we continue on this pledging, quality could be a problem because the government buy in every single grain. Doesn't matter if it's good or bad rice.
Right. So we're going to perhaps lose our reputation as having the high quality, high-end
Absolutely.
rice. What are we doing internationally to promote the fact that we have, I'm talking about the government, the Rice Exporters Association, the actual distributors themselves, what are we doing internationally to promote the fact that we are selling quality rice?
So we walk the talk, meaning that the
One-on-one.
Yeah, as the the exporters will have to really being very selective in terms of rice. I'm sure that even despite the pledging scheme, there are certain farmers and certain millers who are very careful of the quality. So these sections still remains. So we still focus on this one.
But internationally, when you're out there in the market and I go into one of the retail stores, one of the supermarkets, how do you get the message across to these international people that when I pick up a bag of Thai rice, it's quality? For example, if we talk about the Middle East, we like a different sort of rice in the Middle East. And it may not be the high quality, but how do we get the mindset that Thai offers quality so people want to buy more our product? Isn't that the role of the government?
Oh, yes, it is. And we've been proposing for many times now that we should do a very heavy advertisement in terms, when I said big, meaning like the scale of the Thai Tourism Authority, which has done a very good job on it. You go through CNN, you go through all the major airports and everything. To say that the best rice in the world is Thai, something like that to that effect. So I think we are lacking on this side.
I think that doesn't actually support. So what we're missing really is the branding.
Of course.
The branding
yes.
of the Thai product. So if you're watching in Thailand, you probably know all about our quality and our homily, etc. If you're overseas, you probably don't. So look out for Thai rice. It is the high end. The consumers also want to know, are the prices going to increase? I know you're export, but, but if the government is getting this the product for here at a higher rate, that means that a lot of the Thai manufacturers will actually be looking for more domestic market. Does that mean it might
and that
lift the
means
price?
that competition
Exactly
in the
right.
local
That comes
market.
down?
Oh, fierce now. I mean, it's very, very heavy.
Is it?
It is, because exporters are out of job, so they have to turn around and look for other channels to sell their rice. So the domestic market is one way. So what happens today is domestic market has a very heavy, never been seen before competition, and that actually benefits the consumers.
It does.
The local consumers. That means that price did not go up as high as it should have. So.
Now, your own company itself is into rice powder. Is there a push by the association? It doesn't matter whether it's rice, the grain, or rice, the powder, that the farmers should also think about doing something else, diversifying a little?
Farmers, diversifying in terms of for their better living. I think there are many schemes that they can do. One of them is the Thai Chamber of Commerce one rai per 10,000 baht scheme, which means that mixing farming and kettling and everything. That one thing. Otherwise, they can try to go organic, which sadly to say it's a little bit not compatible, let's say, with the
true.
pledging scheme. But at least, I think in longer run, it should benefit anyway. Organic, GAP practice and all those, high quality kind of farming would come in the end. Maybe not a few years from now, but in the longer run, yes, I'm sure we should move that way.
So what is the biggest focus now for the Thai Exporters Association? What is your focus right now?
Focus? I don't know what we should focus. We should endure, yes.
I think that's a very good answer. It's going to be a long endurance test. Kopsuk, thank you very much for joining us
you're
again.
welcome.
And let's hope we can keep the farmers in where they should be and how happy in getting the support that they get. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Belinda and welcome back to Expat Lifestyle. Now today we are going to talk exactly about that, expat lifestyle. Now whether you're a newbie here to Bangkok or you've been here 5 or 10 years, there's always something to learn about this exciting city. The problem is though, how do we find out about that information? So I'm here at Thomagrat Hospital at the Living in Bangkok exhibition. Now here, under one roof, you can see everything there is to know about Bangkok. You can find out all about international schools, travel, food, oh my gosh, I just can't even think, there are so many. So why don't we go and have a look and just see what there is here on offer. So let's have a look, I'm really interested. With the Hospital Marketing Director, Mr. Kenneth Mays. So Ken, thank you very much for taking the time out. It's obviously really busy here behind us, so thank you for talking to me this morning.
Glad to be here.
So tell me exactly what is Living in Bangkok?
Living in Bangkok is a service for the expatriate community that we started about 14 years ago. We do it every year in September. That's when a lot of new expatriates come into town, and people need to know what resources, where to live, how to find a place, how to get set up with a bank and a credit card, what kind of organizations they want to spend some time with. And so we have like 50, 60, 70 exhibitors. It's grown over the years.
Wow.
And it's kind of a one-stop shop for expatriates to find out what to do in Bangkok.
Fantastic. And who is it actually aimed at? Is it aimed at the newbies or is it aimed at somebody who's been here for a long time?
Both. It's particularly popular with the newbies because they, you have to find out how to get things done in Bangkok. But, we get probably about 50% of the attendees are people who've been here a long time. They like to come and shop at Thai crafts for their early Christmas presents. And then it's great because the oldies and the newbies get together and they learn from each other.
Fantastic. And you said it's been going how long?
14 years.
That's amazing. So why did it actually start? Was there a reason behind the whole thing?
Well, I think Bumrungrad is probably the most popular hospital for expatriate residents. And so we have a lot of expatriates coming to our hospital for their healthcare needs, everything from the serious things all the way down to checkups and simple things. And so we thought with all these people kind of depending on the hospital in our service to the community, we thought this would be just a useful service that we could help them with as well.
That's fantastic. And what sort of numbers are we looking at today? Do you have any idea on how many people you're going to expect?
We usually get about 3,000 people during the day that come and go. People bring their families, and people of all the different expatriate nationalities, Japanese, Americans, Canadians, Australians, and so forth.
That's excellent. I think I came here probably about 6 or 7 years ago when I first came, and it was quite small. It was just in one room, tucked away in the corner, and it's
gotten very popular.
It's really big.
Well, it's good for the exhibitors because it's a way for them to introduce themselves to the expatriates, the new ones in town, as well as the expatriates to get, to know these things. So there's a lot of really worthwhile organizations here too, things that do charitable activities and so forth. And a lot of expatriates are here. If you're, as they say, a trailing spouse, sometimes you have time on your hands and you say, well, what can I get involved with? I'd like to help. I'd like to do something good for people. Well, there's a lot of those kind of organizations here as well.
That's excellent. Do you think it will ever outgrow you, or have you got plans for the future?
Well, we're a little bit crowded today, and we've actually split it between here in the main lobby and over in our clinic building up in the Sky Lobby. Right. The hospital is expanding all of the time, so we're building a new conference center, and next year we'll probably be up in the new conference center.
A lot of our viewers have actually been told by Dr. Valerie earlier that it has been coming on, but today, obviously we're here and they may miss out. Is it held every year? I mean, what happens?
Every year. You can look for it the first or second week of September. It's the biggest event of its kind for the expatriate community. There's no other event that really is a one-stop resource for expatriate residents, especially new ones. And we always have it in September. It's in early September, so you can always count on it being at the hospital in early September.
Is there a reason why it's September?
It's when a lot of the new expatriate families come in at the start of the school year.
Okay.
So a lot of them move in late July and August, and they're coming in, and this is a good time because they're all getting started here, and they want to find out how to get these things done.
Oh, how interesting was that? So many exhibitions here. Well, I learned something new. And if you didn't make it here, sorry about that. But next time, September next year, put it in your diaries. So I'll see you then, and I'll see you next time. See ya.